Joining me now, the senior senator from California, Dianne Feinstein. Thanks for joining us tonight, Senator.
You're welcome, Lawrence.
Senator, on this program, I've explained to people that if they want to see gun legislation and ammunition control legislation passed, they're going to have to stand with Dianne. They're going to have to tell their members of Congress how they feel about it. Let's listen to what President Obama says about that.
We have to tell Congress it's time to restore the ban on military-style assault weapons and a 10-round limit for magazines to make it harder for a gunman to fire 154 bullets into his victims in less than 5 minutes. Let's put that to a vote.
Senator, a lot of people don't want to see that come to a vote, but you're going to bring it to a vote in the Senate, aren't you?
Well, I have a commitment from the majority leader that I will have a vote, and I take him at his word. This is an important piece of legislation. Every single poll, as you've pointed out, Lawrence, has shown that the American people support this legislation, as they do the things in the general package. But what's important to me is to dry up the supply of these weapons so that over time they are less apt to fall in the hands of grievance killers, juveniles, people who are mentally disabled, and criminals. And what I have found over the years is that these weapons are especially attractive to these particular kinds of people. And it's the kind of offensive weapon that's relatively easy to use. You don't really have to aim it. It's got enormous firepower, and it can spew out bullets as quickly as you can depress what is a relatively light trigger.
Senator, you were fighting against the odds 20 years ago when you did get this passed in the Senate, and now you are against unprecedented opposition. As we all know, it's very unusual for a leader, majority or minority leader, to join any kind of filibuster. Let's listen to what Senator Mitch McConnell, minority leader, is saying about why he is going to join a filibuster on this bill.
Leader McConnell, could you explain to us why you decided to support the filibuster efforts of the gun bill?
Yeah, the particular bill that the majority leader has indicated he may call up is one that came out of the Judiciary Committee on a partisan vote. We clearly had no bipartisan support in committee, and that was my view on that.
Senator, if that's a reason to filibuster, then that's a reason to filibuster on an awful lot of bills that come to the Senate floor.
Well, that's right. Now, what's interesting, and I think you were working in the Senate at the time when the bill came up in 1994, and it was a bill, a similar type of bill. This is an improved bill. But when it came up, it was on an amendment. It passed on a motion to table. There was no cloture vote. And the statements made by Republicans and Democrats alike were that we should stand up, we should debate this, and we should vote on it. It's important to the nation to know where people stand on a matter that's as important as this. And it passed the Senate. It went to the House, and the bill itself was never amended in either the House or the Senate. And then it went to the president, and of course the president signed it. So it was the law of the land for 10 years. And it did dry up the supply of these weapons.
Senator, what I think is so crucial about your amendments, especially the magazine limitation, is the massacres that we are all talking about in the last couple of years involved legally obtained weaponry. And so, for example, in Connecticut, that shooter would not have had a 30-round magazine because everything there was legally obtained. That family was limiting itself to what was legally available. And so if your bill was to pass, as it has passed in Connecticut and the state legislature, there would have been a 10-bullet limit that shooter was working with that day.
Well, that's right. And that obviously reduces the number of people that he can kill. Particularly, it provides an opportunity for somebody to get to him and disable him. This has been, such a hard go this time because I think the partisanship has really put people in a position where they are not able to do what's best for the country. And there is no way that I can see that what's best for the country is let these kinds of weapons multiply in our society so that they are more easily available to people who would misuse them. I'd like to point out one thing. A background check or some mental law wouldn't change the fact that this mother, Nancy Lanza, gave this weapon to her son, that he gave a seriously disturbed young man weapons, that he taught the young man, that she taught the young man how to use these weapons. And of course, the first person this young man killed was his own mother. And then he went to Sandy Hook. To me, this is such a devastating incident, which likely can be replicated and was replicated to some extent in the Gabby Giffords event. I have a very hard time understanding why Americans are really going to be safer with these kinds of offensive weapons that are constructed all for military use to kill large numbers of people in close combat. Why is our nation better? Because juveniles and grievance killers and gangs can get hold of these weapons to go against police, to go into a law firm, into a theater, into a mall, and just mow down people.
Senator, there are some Republicans who are not afraid of having this vote, and about 8 of them have said publicly that they will vote to allow the bill to proceed and get to a vote, and you'll be able to get to the vote that you want on your amendment. So it looks like we're going to get there. The delays that Mitch McConnell and others might engage in might take a few days, and one of them has said, one of the Republicans has said, we just want to drag this out for 3 more days of debate. I would think 3 more days of debate is something that you would welcome on the Senate floor as an opportunity to continue to make your case.
Yes, I do welcome it, particularly on this bill. Now, the package has a number of other bills on it, and if the cloture vote is on the package, that's a different thing. But when my bill is able to come up, and it's not just my bill, I mean, we have 22 co-sponsors. I've talked to a large number of people about it. As I said, every poll shows America supports it. That's what's so amazing to me. I mean, this isn't something that 10 or 20 or 30% of Americans support. It's something that has the majority of Americans supporting it. It's something that helps guarantee the safety. I very much liked what the president said last night, because many people say when an infant is caught up, and just in D.C. alone, we've had 3 young children shot in the crossfire, and the answer is, well, they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. These children were in the right place at the right time. They were where they were supposed to be, and that place where they were supposed to be has always been known as a safe place, an elementary school.
Senator Dianne Feinstein, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Lawrence.